Hello, how are you? This is Dr. Brenda Shoshana, back with another episode from the new book and program, The Unshakable Road to Love. And this is a very important program, particularly in this day and age when we have so many relationships that unfortunately have broken, or we feel lonely, or we feel divided, separate, cut off. The littlest thing can cut us off, can make us feel, no, it's over. But it's not over. And the concept for today's talk is healing the divided heart. Healing the division between us in relationships. Because when we're in the midst of a feeling of division, we don't want anything to do with that person. And then the reality hits, we miss them. There's a loss. There's a lot of losses these days. And let's work with some of the main points of this chapter in the book about healing conflict and division and fights. So we'll start with this. For many of us, a relationship is about who's right, who's wrong. They did something to me, and I'm hurting because of that. Who's right, who's wrong? Who's good, who's bad? There's a division. We're constantly dividing our relationships, ourselves, our heart up. And actually, there's a great teaching which comes from the Zen Buddhist tradition, which says, when others are wrong, I am wrong. That's an amazing statement. When others are wrong, I am wrong. Well, what does that mean? Because certainly it looks like when we look from one perspective, others are wrong. They're doing something bad. And we have to correct them. We have to fix it. We have to tell them what's right. That orientation leads inevitably to more and more division. I'm not saying that there isn't something that's ultimately wrong and ultimately right. I'm not saying that. What I want to work with is how to heal the division so that together we can come to see what's beneficial and true and good for all. When we're clenched in anger and in separation, we can't see clearly. We can't see the big perspective. So let's work with this very important situation for now. How do we deal with it? I'm having a fight. And right away we think, well, they're wrong. So we stop that for a moment. We stop it. And we remember, when others are wrong, I am wrong. Let me just allow this person to be right just for now. I can be right tomorrow, or I can be right later on. Let me give him this or her this space and really try to understand what it is that they're believing, what they're thinking. Let me be quiet and listen. Listening is a profound act, and very hard. We really don't know how to listen. We're not trained to listen. Usually we listen to ourselves, to all the tapes running in our own mind, to our judgments, to our plans, to our expectations. But if we just stop, let them be right. Put down the sword, put down the fight, and listen. Listen to what they want to say to you. Now, when someone really listens to you, really deeply listens, without objecting, without trying to get their 2 cents in, they're creating a space around themselves and you of openness, of acceptance, and of union. There's a unity between the two of you that's happening. That space itself affects the entire atmosphere, the entire mood, and the entire communication. Let me know what you think. I'm listening. Let me know you. Just that act, let me know you, is an act of love. As we say in this program, The Unshakable Road to Love, love is composed of many deeds of love actions. It's not a feeling. It's not a need of ours that gets fulfilled. There are many actions that create a loving environment and a loving atmosphere, which really means a possibilities for people, for relationships, creates opening for something new to happen, to emerge. I've seen this so many times happen myself when I stop and I just allow the person to be right, which means I stop judging them. I stop trying to be smarter than them, trying to win an argument. I just want to be with them and make friends and know who they really are. So in that environment, when they don't have anything to fight against, because the more you give somebody something to fight against, the stronger the argument becomes, and the more they become frozen in their position. This is an unfreezing, a melting, and you're really listening. It's quite hard to do, even though it's very simple, but once you practice it, it's quite simple. So you're really, really allowing and listening. And as that continues, they themselves will see new aspects of what they're saying, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. You're giving them the space to see the bigger picture too. And they may change it. They may say, I don't mean exactly that. I mean this. Because, when you're very busy fighting against someone, you don't really hear yourself even, or really see what you're really, truly thinking and believing. So you're giving an opportunity for self-corrections to be made, because they will be. They will. We all know deep down what's right, what's good, what's true, what's healing. And we all get trapped in this fight that goes on, holding a position, getting frozen. That happens to everybody. And by just being quiet and listening and giving them respect and space, that knot that forms begins to unfold, and they begin to see for themselves. I've seen that happen many, many times. Many times. Again, as I said before, with this practice, it's not about figuring it out. Well, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? It's about actually doing it, practicing it in your life, in your experience, and finding out for yourself. You'll see by doing. Do, and you will see. It's not sit here and figure it out. It's actually practice this. So when something comes up and you're engaged in this battle and struggle and who's right, who's wrong, let them be right. Say to yourself, they can be right. I can be right tomorrow. Today, I'm going to let them be right. I'm going to give them respect. I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn, because you will also learn ways in which you may have been out of focus as well. Another very beautiful exercise connected to this procedure is, I practiced this for years, and in workshops and everything. It's called the turnaround procedure. It's a wonderful, wonderful procedure for melting the frozen anger and fights that goes on when our heart gets divided and when we get divided. And what you do in the turnaround procedure, it's very simple. You just for a moment take their point of view. You're like you're playing a little scene out, and you play their role. You could do it actually play it out, give them your role, take their role and play it out as a scene. Or you can do it in your mind. Pretend to be them. And look at the whole situation from their point of view. You're them, you're not you at that moment in the exercise. And you will see where they're coming from. You may not agree with it, but you will really know it experientially, directly. And by resonating with it and knowing it, the division begins to melt away. When this dividedness, when this frozenness, when this holding on to a position for dear life begins to melt, and it does, it will, then all kinds of new possibilities emerge. all new ways of seeing something emerge. Because what's more important than holding these positions is the connection and the love between two people, the respect, the unity. Because out of that, there's always another way to look at things and to handle things, which will be beneficial for all. This is actually just a law of relationships. There are simple laws of relationships, like gravity. You know, you go on a roof, you drop a penny, the penny falls down. The laws of gravity. And a law in relationships is that what comes first? Before solutions, before convincing anybody of anything that you don't have to do, which finding a solution, what comes first is letting go of the division, the separation, the lack of respect for the other, the unwillingness to see it from their point of view. Once that begins to melt, everything becomes possible. And that's what I wanted to share today. So thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, if you'd like to hit the like button or the subscribe, we'd love to have you. And the book itself is called, as I said, The Unshakable Road to Love. It's available on Amazon. It has lots of exercises and lots of specific actions to take in your life, which will help melt the pain of our divided heart and our divided relationships. Because, you know, ultimately we all are one. We all are unified. We're all wanting love, and we want to give love. That's fundamental to everyone. So let's learn how to return to that original need, and it can be returned to very simply. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.